All right, here we go. Come on, Goofy. Come on. All right, so it's a beautiful Sunday morning. A little sprinkle of rain last night. Maybe a little bit more than a sprinkle, but not very much. It hasn't rained much lately. Just enough to make everything kind of damp and wet. Which is my usual luck. There's no wind. It hasn't been much of a wind lately, the last couple of weeks, really. So everything's it takes forever for things to dry out, and it's been humid and warm. My truck said 19 degrees. When we pulled up here. Okay, so what we have to do is we have to cross over to the highway. So we started back where the visitor information center is. So this is what we're going to be doing. Is we are going to be going, we'll do this, we'll take the northern route and then cut down to High Falls and then come back along the river and back up to the route here. And then you can go, so Finger Point is named after Herman Finger, who was one of the principals of the company. So this is how we cross under the highway. And then, ooh, we even have lights. Fancy. Luna's excited. I haven't been sort of hiking in a while. Come in. So you can just imagine at the turn of the century, this area being kind of alive with activity. Particularly as we get closer to the river. Hundreds of men working, cutting trees. You can imagine massive stands of white pine. Hopefully the video's turning out okay. I got the head strap on and I've never used it with my floppy hat here. Trying out the new GPS again. Well, new, got it in June. The battery lasts long. I charged it up when I did a little driving reconnaissance back at the start of July. And so I used it all day that day, and then there was another day that I used it. Then I did a hike at the end of July. We were hiking all day. It doesn't show a percentage, but I'd say probably at least 2/3 charge still. And the accuracy is just unbelievable. 1.8 meters. It like very rarely deviates from that, which is amazing, because my old GPS, you know, in a heavy cover like this, we'd be, you know, if you were lucky, you were getting 4 meters, sometimes 5 or 6, especially when you get into canyons and things like that. So this area used to be a provincial, well, it is a provincial park still. Used to be a, it's a word that I'm looking for. It used to be a, geez, brain fart here. I was up late last night. Basically used to be a full service provincial park. They used to have, we're gonna pass, no, it's a little bit further up by Middle Falls. So we're going to High Falls. Then there's another set of falls called Middle Falls. And there used to be a campground, right? And, you know, you could tent there, you could camp there, you could day camp. I think it was called Middle Falls Provincial Park. Now it's Pigeon River Provincial Park. And it ties in with another provincial park, La Vérendrye, which is a water provincial park that basically goes from where this park ends all the way to Quetico. And it basically runs along the waterway that delineates the waterways that delineate the border. Kind of humid already. It's been so humid. The last couple of weeks we've been back at school, and just like melting every day at school. It's ridiculous. Like gross sweating. You are here. Okay, so we're gonna take the northern loop, come down to High Falls, and then work our way back on the southern loop, right? So you can see Pigeon River, and then you can see La Vérendrye kicking in here and then going all the way to Quetico. All right, come on, Lynn. So this is a well-used park. Lots of visitors. And again, the reason why we're here is because we're taking a look at the history of this particular area. So it's the middle of September, it's the 15th. Oh, it's humid already. And you can see the some of the colors, some of the leaves are starting to turn already. Shoot, forgot to mark that trailhead on my GPS. Yeah, you can feel the humidity already. Gross. So this is the upper route, and we're going to climb a bit. The Pigeon River as you move inland, is surrounded by hills. So it does form like a gorge. Which is why we're going to be going up to the falls, and then we're going to be seeing at the falls the log chute, or remains of the log chute that was built to bypass the falls. So you can see all the creeks and everything are dry. Just a little mucky from that little shower we got yesterday. Oh my God, it's so gross already. Just the sign loon. Okay, let's mark this. So we are here, and we're going to head down to the viewing platform for the falls. My glasses are starting to fog up. Okay, let's go. Oh my God, it's so humid. I don't know if you can see the humidity in the air. It's like foggy and misty. Or maybe foggy, it's not necessarily misty. But I can feel it already. You can hear the falls, and you can see how high up we are already. So you can hear the water running. And if we look back this way, I don't know what you can see. You can see the river winding out. So the Pigeon River is an international boundary. Oh, great. So of course it rains, so everything's a little slippy. So just across on the other side of the river is the United States. Let's go have a look-see. All right, here we go. Here's the valley of the Pigeon River. You can hear the waterfall. You can hear high falls running. You can see the river. Look, there's a white pine still here. So they missed one. Basically, you can imagine this area was covered in these trees. This whole area was full of white pines, and they're all gone. They've all been cut. Sorry, let me mark this. right, come on then. Glasses are starting to fog up. Gross, gross, gross. So again, you can imagine 1899, 1898, 1899, people start cutting in here. So the Alger Smith Company out of Michigan is cutting in here. And then eventually the Pigeon River Lumber Company, and eventually Alger Smith sells out to Pigeon River. And so you basically have the Pigeon River Company, Pigeon River Lumber, basically mining this entire watershed on both sides of the border. Don't mind me, just gonna give the camera a wipe here. There's a little trickle of raindrops that came down. River seems to be running decently for the lack of rain that we've had. Just gonna need to be careful, everything's wet and slippery here. So there's the falls right there, and we're gonna go take a look at that in more detail very, very shortly. You can see it's been blocked off. I guess they don't want people going on top of the falls, but we want to see the lumber chute. Is this the right way down? I gotta go the other way. Hi, Lynn. Okay, so we've arrived at the falls viewing platform. And so this bridge, the reason why this bridge is here is because there is, you see this trough in here? This is the lumber chute, right? So here you can see it. And I'll show you some pictures on mine. So basically, you can basically see the chute here, right? So this part, this section, and I don't remember, I forgot to look it up last night. So basically there was a wooden portion coming off the falls, then there was this rock portion, and then there was another wood portion, right? And you can see the boom above there, and so it had channeled the logs. So there was a dam that was built, and that dam, the construction on that dam started in the 1890s. So they funneled the logs into the chute and then around the falls. So you can see here, you can see part of the chute here. Okay, and so the Pigeon River Slide and Boom, that is, there were actually two companies. Because it was an international waterway, they basically had to form two different companies. They had to form an American company and they had to form a Canadian company. And so the Pigeon River Slide and Boom was the American company. So this is incorrect. And then the Arrow River and Tributary Slide and Boom was the Canadian side, right? And so basically, those were the two companies that were used to construct these diversions. All right, so here we are. So here is the mighty Pigeon River, one of the bigger rivers in the area. And so you can imagine, so there's the viewing platform on the American side. The sluiceway, you can actually, if you look down, you can see some timbers from it. you could basically see the channel. And we're going to go over there and we're going to take a look at some of the remains of the channel. Okay, we're going to pause the video here. I need to do a battery change, and then we're going to make our way up to the top. Okay, before we move on, so you can imagine that there is a dam across the top of there being a dam across the top of the waterfall there. Give you a zoomed in view. And then the log chute, again, it's hard to see. Let's see if I can zoom in with my phone. There's a bit of concrete there. That would be the start of the log chute. So the log chute would have been just right in that area there. Right across here. Okay. Let's head back this way. Oh my God, it is so humid and gross. So you can see timbers down there that are what remain of the log chute. Maybe after we'll go down and we can see it a little bit better. But for now, what we're going to do is we're going to head back up here. The sun's starting to poke out. Don't know if we can see any remains of the chute here. They used to be very, very visible. I'm positive I saw them with my own eyes. So if you can imagine, the log chute is just right down here. I'm gonna stay here. All right, the log chute is right down there, because there's the channel. There's the channel it goes into, so right through here. Oh, come here. No, you stay here. Stay here. Stay here. Stop it. Stay. Stay. I don't need you going crazy here. Wait. Wait, Loon. There was an otter. So right there is the start of the, right here is the start of the chute. Right here. So we'll work our way down there. Let me take a picture. Without killing ourselves. Because again, everything is wet and slippery. Right? So here you can see the remains, right? So you have metal stakes, and there you can see the top part of the support for the chute, right? So the logs would have come right through here. And you can see what they've done is they've actually used rails. So you can see that they've used rails here in the construction of this chute, right, to reinforce the logs. Look at this. Look at the nails embedded in the side of this to hook the logs into, right? Or actually, you know what? The chute is right there. There's the chute. Sorry, there's the chute, right? Because here's the channel for the chute right here. There's the channel right there. So the chute would have been, and you can see how it's angled. So they're using the wall of the waterfall here. Carefully get down there. Oops. Everything's wet and slippery. So here's the channel of the chute. All right, so you can see how this has been carved out. You get some concrete here. Let's take a picture of this. Right, you can see the rails. Maybe I'll get you some video here. So there you can see the close-up of the rails. So again, just sort of an amazing piece of engineering. You can see all the concrete work that's been built right up on top of the rock here. And then, oh, my glasses are all fogged up. I can't see anything. It is so humid. Let's, before we go any further, let's do this. Let's give there we go. So probably this is the chute right here. All right, you can see it's coming, looping around, and then the logs would have gone right through here. So it would have started back over there. So let's carefully, here you can see another hole. So you probably would have had some sort of reinforcement in there. And so here we are on the top part of the river. So again, you can imagine there's a dam across here, and probably, I don't know if this is a dead arm here or if this is part of the chute. This might be part of the chute here. So you basically have the logs being funneled into here and then down the chute. So there's the beautiful Pigeon River. You can see it's actually quite gorgeous. Maybe I'll take a picture here with the mist. And again, this is a good time of year to come because yeah, the leaves are kind of still up, so it makes it hard to see things, but certainly the water level is much lower. And again, so if you could imagine the chute, stay here, Lynn, the chute being right there, right? You could see that part of the chute and then basically cutting across right in through there. You can see some folks up on the American side. Then stay here. Stay here, Luna. I'm not good with heights, and I don't like when people go to the edge of things. Okay, let's work our way back. Gotta mark some stuff on the GPS here. Yeah, it's a little bit nasty today. Everything's a little slippery, so we have to be extra careful. Yeah, this has got to be, this is probably the channel here. Oh my God, this is ridiculous. I can't see anything. It is so humid. Should pause for a second here. Just check and make sure we're still recording. Yeah, we are. The camera will beep if it shuts off. Sometimes you won't be able to hear that. Yeah, this is not good. It's very slippery. And I'm not 20 years old anymore. When you slip and you're my age, you hurt things. Mark. Okay, let's save that. Let's go back over here and mark this part of the chute. I don't like it in here because it's slippery. Okay. Let's slap one more picture here, just to be all right, Lynn. Let's work our way back. Come on. Okay, so we're gonna go back up to close to the viewing platform where the rock part of the chute is. Again, I don't remember the distances. It's in the book that I'm working on. So there was I mean, I swear I saw it with my own eyes, that there used to be, you could actually see the knockdown timbers of the chute, like basically like where they kind of fell. So let's carefully, because we don't want to slip and fall down. So you can see part of it here. I have to take my glasses off because I can't see anything. So this is the front part of the chute here. Luna, stay here. All right, and then it would have gone across just over there. Take a picture. Go over here. Maybe let's give the camera a wipe just in case. Wow, there's actually, that's cool. Look at this. Oh, you can actually see some of the wood. of the chute. Remember, this was put in here over 100 years ago. Here you can see the channel of the chute. You can see more of the supports. You can see these rails that they use to basically secure the weight of the chute itself. Let's mark this. Mark. My God, it is so humid and gross. Like ridiculously humid and gross. Oh, if I can get a picture of the back side of this, maybe it might be easier than the front side. Hopefully everybody can see that okay on the camera. Okay, let's get back up on the trail here. So much easier for the dog. Oh God. I don't do well with humidity. Never have. So that's why I'm sweating like a hog. Okay, watch out. Give the camera a light. Oh. Again, so you would have had that wood portion, then you have this portion that's been cut into the rock, and then you have another wood portion. Again, I'll let you know how long it is because I have no clue. I want to keep my glasses on because it's not cool getting poked in the eye, but I'm struggling because they keep fogging up. So this walkway here was basically designed to replicate what the chute would have looked like. And so there's the channel down there. I don't know if we can get in there. I'm not a rule breaker. I don't really want to jump the fence. Well, how about we do this? Let's just mark it. Especially since this is on video. I don't want people coming back to me and saying, you broke the rules. Don't know. Yeah, see, there's a fence here, so you can't get into the channel. It would have been nice to get into the channel and walk through it. So we're going to take the southern route back. So here again, you can see the channel. There's a little bit of water in there. So you can imagine there was a constant flow of water in this channel, basically being siphoned off from the dam. And again, you'll understand why the big reason why they would have moved the logs in the springtime is because at this time of the year there's no water, and even in the spring they had troubles, right? There were years where basically there was a lack of water in the river, and they had a hard time you know, moving the logs, right? Because there wasn't enough flow to keep the logs moving all the way down the river, because the Pigeon River is a long river, right? They were cutting up in some years. They're, you know, they're cutting up further up, right? So eventually the Pigeon River starts at South Fowl Lake, right? So they were cutting up there. Eventually they were cutting even farther up at Mountain Lake, right? So you know, they have a lot of series of places to work the logs down. They were cutting up the Arrow River watershed, and the Arrow River does flow into this river as well. So here you can see that very well-defined channel. Oh my God, it is so absolutely humid and gross. So here the channel continues, and it's going to end just up here, right? You can see it's starting to drop, because the idea is we have to get the logs back into, we got to get the logs back into the river. Okay, so if we carefully work our way over here, we'll probably see the bottom end of the chute. Now again, we're careful, because do you see how high up we are? And I don't feel like falling. So the chute would have come out just right here, and then it would have gone further down as I lean. Hopefully this tree is sturdy. And then it would have gone further down. So here you can see this absolutely gorgeous view. You can see in the distance there, maybe I'll grab my phone and Luna, stay here. Stay here. In the distance, you can see the, stay here. Let's zoom in here. In the distance, you can see there's the bridge. So there's the international bridge crossing. So if you're traveling back and forth between Canada and the United States, this is the that's the Pigeon River Bridge crossing. All right, so there's the official bridge crossing. Now, Luna, stay here. Stay here. God, she makes me nervous. One little slip and then we're in trouble here. The original bridge crossing actually used to be further up the river. Maybe I'll show you a map. So that bridge crossing was opened in the 1960s. The original bridge crossing, which was opened in 1917, was and actually one of the people behind that opening of that bridge crossing was William Scott, who was one of the founders of the company. And so he was one of the big pushers behind constructing this bridge and basically building a road link between, at the time, Fort William and Port Arthur and Duluth. So that bridge opened in 1917. Now, they didn't have official permission when they built the bridge from either government. So for a while, it was called the Outlaw Bridge because obviously it was built illegally. Eventually they did get permission, and so that bridge crossing was used until the 1960s when this bridge crossing was open. And if you travel down the highway, right, so you come down Highway 61 to cross the border now, but there's a side highway that goes off 593. 593 goes back up to Silver Mountain, where it hooks in with the Port Arthur, Duluth, and Western at Silver Mountain. But basically there's a part of the road that continues running a little bit west, and eventually you'll get to the border crossing. This one is kind of flat. There is a bridge, but you know, the river is much lower. The other crossing is like a gorge, right? And basically, you know, the bridge over there, there's quite a drop from the oh, I have my glasses on. I'm like, where are my glasses? There's quite a drop in that gorge, right? So from the top of where the bridge is down to the level of the river. Ooh, we got stairs. right? Because so basically what we're doing is we're working our way down, back down to the level of the river, and we're actually going to be walking on this southern route here. We're going to be walking right alongside the river, right? So we're going to be right at river level. Watch your step here. See the rock here, all this kind of really shale rock. More stairs. Come on. Come on. Allez. So what we're going to do is we're going to hang a right here, and we're going to go over here, and you can actually see where the chute comes out. Sun's starting to come out, so you can see the real gorge that's formed by the river. And so the chute would have come right through here, right? You can see the stake, right? And it would have continued down this way, and then eventually dump the logs into the river, right? So again, the whole idea was to try to avoid damage to the logs, right? Because we're not making pulp, okay? We're making logs, right? We're cutting lumber. Sorry, is that just a rock? Yeah, it's a piece of rock, but you can see there's wood here. Let me clean the lens of the camera. Let's take a picture. I'm gonna stay here. Don't need the dog falling. So let's where's that? There's the stake, right? So basically the let's go to video here. So the chute would have come out right up through here, back in through this area here. And then it would have continued this way here, eventually dumping into the river. Let's mark this. Oh my God, it is so humid. Again, just beautiful here with the valley. Just trying to get some photos. All right, let's keep going here. Oh. Okay. So let's hope the camera, this battery carries us through until the end here. The camera's smoking hot. Shooting in 4K 60 uses up a lot of juice. Oh my God. Like I'm drenched, and we haven't even walked that far. We've done 2 kilometers. Jeez. Come on. And again, so if you can envision it, this area just being full of massive white pines, and they're gone. right? They've all been cut. White pine does not grow particularly well in this area the further north you go, basically because it needs sort of deep, rich soils. And as you get further into the Canadian Shield, so this around Thunder Bay here, we're kind of putting my geography teacher hat on. We're in basically a bit of a mixed forest. We're kind of on the northern end of the mixed forest, which you're going to see coniferous trees, but you're also going to see deciduous trees, right? So you can basically see some examples here. You can see a clump of birch up here and poplar and some other leafy species, right? As you move further north, you're going to see more and more coniferous trees. So basically the white pine likes deep, well-drained soils. You're not going to get that around here, right? Because of glaciation, we don't really have that. The only place you're going to find some deep soils is in the river valleys, and that's why there was a lot of pine in this area along the Pigeon, the Pine River, the Arrow, basically all the tributaries that were kind of flowing into the Pigeon River. You found pockets of that. There was obviously, we're going to take a look at that in another episode, but there was pine up by Gunflint Lake, white pine. So here's the Pigeon. Here we are, very, very close to the level of the lake. Over there is the United States. You can see some folks exploring over on that side as well, coming in from their side of the border. Again, if you are not aware, Canada and the United States have a pretty friendly relationship. You can technically walk into the river. The waterways along the border between Canada and the United States here are covered by an international treaty signed in 1842, and basically that treaty states that the waterways are basically you can cross through the waterways. You know, so say for example you're on Gunflint Lake, you can travel from one side of the lake to the other as long as you're not going onto the land. A lot of people do canoe, particularly from the US side, canoe the boundary waters, and you can use the portages, right? So sometimes the portages are on the Canadian side, sometimes they're on the American side. You can use the portages without any type of documentation or permitting or crossing through the border. Both sides actually have a permitting system that allows you to cross into the other's territory, right? So here in Canada we have what's called an RABC, which stands for Remote Area Border Crossing Permit. So technically as Canadians we need that, even though we are Canadians. So if you were to, for example, in the wintertime use your snowmobile and cross into the United States, right, and then crossing back into Canada, you would need that. Basically you would need that permit, right? And there's a similar type of permitting system on the American side. So nice little boardwalk here. I imagine in the springtime this is a little wet here because we are so close to the river. Now there was, so I think the last time I was here, God, 2014, it's probably been 10 years since I've been down this trail, because I remember I was doing some work on the Pigeon River railway line, the Gunflint Lake Superior, and I remember, did I get a phone call or did I get a text? Something to do with this research that I was doing, and this is I remember because we were right here, the chimney site, right? And so basically there was a lodge here. So it says built in the 1930s with local rock. This chimney is all that remains of a resort lodge that once stood here. Adjacent cabins provide accommodation for vacationing anglers and hunters. All right. The natural features of the area and their location inspired the names for these lodges, including Pigeon River Resort, High Falls Resort, and Borderland Resort. So here's what's left of this chimney. Kind of neat. How do you take a picture of this? It's all backlit. The Canadian River System Heritage Plaque. Well, there was no sign on there, right? I think we got to go that way. We're going to go this way. I'm like melting. Oh, did I mark the chimney? Let's mark the chimney. I think I have it marked in there. So you can imagine, again, this area, you know, starting in, say, I think around 1898, would have been alive with activity, right? Like there would have been tons of people in this area. The main sort of supply camps for the logging operations would have been further down the river near its mouth, where it emptied into Lake Superior, closer to places like Finger Point and stuff like that. But then there would have been little locations along there. In the main video, I'm going to show you some. I'll show you some maps. One of the great resources that we have is we have the International Boundary Commission maps. So those maps were the ones for this area. So basically from Lake of the Woods to Lake Superior were put out in 1929. But the survey for the initial portion, so basically from Lake Superior to I think Saginaga Lake. We call it Saginaga. Folks in Minnesota, Saginaga. Right? Not making fun of them, just different. I remember the first time I got corrected on that, Saginaga. Anyway, so they did the survey for that in 1911. So the maps basically reflect things as they were in 1911. And so you see a lot of sites marked on there that basically would eventually disappear. And so those maps are a huge historical resource, and they're very accurate and they're very detailed. So they're basically just like topographic maps, and they show the area around the border. They show all of the boundary reference markers. We didn't see any, but if you were to look at the maps, and basically you'd be able to find all of these little markers, posts with numbers on them, and they're used basically to reference exactly where the border is located. Oh. Is that a bit of a breeze? So sticky and gross. Of course, like the day that we're supposed to come for this hike, or it rains at night, and it's humid in the morning. It's always the way it is. A little slippy on here. I think we're coming up to the junction. Oops. Where we split off initially. Gotta remember to mark that junction in the trail. Yeah, there's the junction. Mark. All right. Come on then. Whew. It's not particularly long. I thought it was longer than this was. We've done 2 3/4 kilometers. It's not even far. I walk the dog. Oh. Dog's looking for water. When we get back to the truck, Loon, I'll give you some water, okay? Hopefully this video turned out okay. I don't want to redo it. And GPS is working well. Really didn't move off that. Oh, as I talk now, 1.9. I think we're okay with 10 centimeters being off. Like I said, it's been, most of the time it's been stuck on 1.8 meters, which is like 6 feet radius, which is pretty accurate for a handheld GPS. You can see the sun's really starting to poke out now. We're starting to get some shadows. What time is it? Almost 10 o'clock. I love my little the fitness apps and stuff on the phone. You're doing a great job. Keep it up. Well, we're here at the highway. Oh, look at that. We're down to, briefly clicked up to 2 meters. Oh, there we go. 1.8. Little gusts of wind. You can hear the rain and the leaves coming down. So the next couple of weeks, we're really going to start to see a change in the colors. Saw a post on social media. Somebody from, maybe it was the Chickawauk Museum by Gunflint, posted a picture basically showing the difference between last year and this year. And it showed this year that the leaves are already starting to turn color. We had a really heavy frost. The first week of September, one of those days was pretty bad frost. So I'm sure that sped things up, but it's been warm. It's been like ridiculously above average, right? Like I said, you know, earlier in the hike here, you know, it's been in the mid 20s, which is unusual for this time of the year. Even at night, like the lows are like 15, 16 degrees. So it's not even cooling off that much at night for this time of the year, right? People are like, ooh, 16 degrees, that's chilly. Well, not in September around here. And so the days have been warm. Like I said, I've been at work, I've been dying. It's been so warm because all you do is sweat because the school is so hot. And then I have football after school and you're outside and it's just, the humidity is just like, I've been going home, eating supper, taking the dog for a walk, and then I have to have a shower because I cannot go to bed because I am so sticky and gross that I don't want to climb into bed like that. Alrighty. Well, 2.5 kilometer loop. We did a little bit more, but kind of went back and forth. So nice little trail. Again, it's got to be 10 years that I haven't been here. And maybe that's why you could see the remains of, and I'd been here before that as well on numerous occasions, but I swear I remember seeing the, you could see the remains of the log chute on the ground. And in the past, I've seen pictures of people had taken it and the log chute was still standing. But I remember the boards being down on the ground and you could see them very, very clearly. Because 2000, yeah, yeah, the kids were with me. Because I remember taking a picture, and the kids were in the picture. Because that one spot where the chute comes out of the rock channel, and I remember taking a picture of the kids. So how old would they have been? Ethan would have been 9. Noah would have been 7. Yeah, Dad dragged them everywhere through the bush. That would have been probably August. I distinctly remember being by that chimney, and I'm positive my phone rang, or no, maybe not phone rang. I got an email. Remember getting an email because I was emailing some people about the railway line, the Gunflint and Lake Superior, and maybe I had come back from Gunflint and I had done some measurements on a metal shaft that turned out to be a line shaft from a logging locomotive, from a Shea locomotive. And there were some guys that run a website, shaylocomotives.com, and I remember emailing them, and they got back to me with the information about the locomotive, and it was right down by the river, right by that chimney site. Hopefully the camera's still recording. I haven't heard it beep that it's turning off. The battery must be pretty much dead. Last time I looked at it was 40-something%. All right, so we're back at the trailhead here. So, hopefully you enjoyed this little jaunt. There's my truck. I gotta remember throw some money in the coin box here. Okay, so let's switch off here and get back to the main part of the episode.